Hey there, grade 9s. Welcome to lesson 5 of chapter 2. This lesson is on exponent laws number 2. So this is kind of our second lesson related to exponent laws. So in this one, we actually have 3 different laws that we are going to talk about. So we'll go to law number 1 first. So this is where you have exponent law for a power of a power. So here we have 3 squared inside the brackets, then outside the brackets we have to the power of 4. So what's technically happening there first? Well, we know that exponents emphasize repeated multiplication. So what's actually going on here is we're saying 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared. Okay, because that's happening 4 times. And then if we expand that even more, it'd be 3 times 3, so that's this one, times 3 times 3, which is this one, times 3 times 3, which is that one, times 3 times 3. All right, so we have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So we can actually say 3 to the power of 8 when we're simplifying it. Okay, so what's actually going on with this rule, okay, with this law? When we have something that's kind of inside or outside of the bracket, okay, the way that they kind of explain it is they say A is our number, M is our first exponent, and N is our second exponent. What ends up happening is our rule, we get A is M times N. Okay, when they're side by side, it's basically saying times. So here we're saying 2 times 4 gives us 8. So we're getting our answer here of 8. Okay, I'm hoping that kind of makes sense, as you can kind of see what's going on and how we kind of got to where we got. All right, so given this rule, so A with M and N gives us a M times N. So if I was to give you another quick example, so if we were to say 4, 5, and 3, okay, what would the final answer be there? So let's start. This is 5, it's hard to read. Okay, 5 and 3, we would end up saying 5 times 3 is 15, so 4 to the power of 15. Okay. So that's our first rule. Okay, if we move on to our second rule, so here we have something inside of our bracket, okay? And a lot of you are going to think, okay, well, we should multiply it first, okay? But what's actually going on is we're actually saying 3 times 4 times 3 times 4 times 3 times 4 times 3 times 4 times 3 times 4, okay? So I have 3 times 4 5 times. I can rewrite it and say 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Because like I said last time, when we're doing multiplication, it doesn't matter the order that you're actually doing it in. So when we have something like this, we can now actually go and simplify it. So we can say 3 to the power of 5 times 4 to the power of 5, technically. So the rule that we have when we have something like A times B to the power of M, okay? A times B to the power of M actually becomes A to the power of M and B to the power of M, okay? So this is our second rule. So what is outside the bracket actually gets applied to everything inside the bracket. Because when we do our order of operations, okay, when we break it down, this is actually what we're going to get. Okay, so A times M and B times M. Okay, so if I give you another question, let's see if you guys can simplify it. Okay, so let's go 2 times 6 to the power of 4. Okay. So what would it look like when you're all done? Well, my 4 is going to go to my 2, so 2 to the power of 4 times, and then this is going to go here, 6 to the power of 4. So that's what it's going to look like when we simplify it, okay? Now, let's go to the last one, Okay, the last one. So this one was when you have power of a product. Okay, power of a product. And this one is power of a quotient. So this is our law for power of a quotient. So what's going on here? We're basically saying 5 times 6, or 5 over 6 times 5 over 6 times 5 over 6. Okay, so similar to kind of what was going on last time, we're eventually saying 5 to the power of 3 divided by 6 to the power of 3. Because we're going 5 times 5 times 5, which is repeated multiplication, and then 6 times 6 times 6, which is also repeated multiplication. So 5 cubed divided by 6 cubed. So and that's how we get our answer. So our rule that we have, so if we have a divided by b to the power of m, ends up giving us am divided by bm. Okay. So for all of these rules, though, we can't have any of our numbers. They have to be integers. They cannot be 0. Okay. So none of these numbers can be 0. So b can't be 0 because we can't divide by 0. So those are kind of the rules. I'll give you guys one more example here that you guys can simplify. So if we were to have 2 over 7 to the power of 6, okay, what would happen? Well, like I said, these rules are fairly similar, where what's inside, it just kind of gets expanded out. So we would have 2 to the power of 6 divided by 7 to the power of 6. All right. So those are kind of the rules that we're going to be going by. So you've got rules 1 and rules 2. If you have any questions, please bring your questions to the Zoom or through the Hangouts. You can ask me, and I'll give you guys some questions to work on as practice, and good luck.